My name is Panchapoa. I am currently a third-year student at EHL Hospitality Business School in Lausanne in Switzerland. When I was 14, I received a scholarship to go to Australia for 1 year because sometimes expectations can limit me. At least we went to Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, the US.
So, hello and welcome back to We Talk A Lot podcast. I'm Milde, your host for today's episode.
I'm Panya. I'll be your co-host today.
And today we're going to discover and explore a very interesting topic that opened up to a lot of opportunities and experiences, which is exchange programs. And today we have also brought along a very, very special guest who've taken the lead in this field and went around the globe to experience this specific topic. And we're introducing you to our friend. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Panchapoa. I am currently a third-year student at EHL Hospitality Business School in Lausanne in Switzerland. Currently, I'm doing an administrative internship for a part of my studies here, and I'm doing it in my city as well, in a MBA graduate school called IMD. And I'm very excited to be here because it's also like a little catch-up session with everyone because we've all moved to many different places around the world. And I think we can all learn from our exchanges today. And yeah, I'm very excited.
Okay, thank you, Pua, for being here with us today and taking your time to participate in this podcast with us. So in today's episode, our main focus will be to uncover Pua's stories about exchange programs that she's had, as well as the challenges that she faced. And so if you guys are thinking of embarking on this journey of exchange program, or you're just very curious about this topic, please stay tuned to the end of the video to learn about her inspiring stories. So without any further ado, let's start on to our podcast.
So a lot of things has changed. Like recently, a lot of big changes. I just moved to a new apartment to start my internship. I just started my internship this week, actually, like on Monday. So it's been my first week at work. So also new friends, new coworkers. Yeah, a new place. So I still need to get used to it. But luckily, the same city, which I really love. So I'm excited to explore more. Yeah, and you guys, because I know we all went to like many different places, but we're also in different stages of life. So I want to see where you guys are at.
So recently, I'm about to finish my summer course at Bellevue College, and I'm residing in the Bellevue of Washington State. And I don't think I have any plan yet until like summer is over. I might go on a road trip with my friends, maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
Road trip. That's cool.
Road
That's cool.
I never made
trip.
it. My friends and I never made it on a road trip.
Oh, that's exciting. Which reminds me that some of you guys might know I just got back to Cambodia after my midterms. So I'm also going on a road trip tomorrow. We're going to you guys know Kampot.
Kampot. Oh, I thought
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very
No, she's just saying like you guys want to know where I'm going.
Okay, I heard you guys know Kampot. I'm like, how can we not know?
Guess where I'm going.
So yeah, I'm going for a trip tomorrow. So yeah, what about you guys? What have you been up to?
What have you been up to?
Nothing much here. I just continue to study this online course called UX UI design, and then that's it. That's pretty much my summer.
How are you
Wait,
doing?
where do you study? Where do you study on YouTube?
Google course with Coursera. Google.
Yeah.
Is it free or paid?
Pay.
Oh, paid.
Yeah,
one.
we have to pay each month to finish like 7 courses. And right now I'm on the second course. I'm getting there slowly because it's a very big change for me. But I think I'm more leaning towards this creative, digital, and
Yeah, it's also an emerging trend. So
Yeah, what are you up
So
to?
for me, as you may already know, I just started my internship about 10 days ago. and yay! It's been really good, really fun, very eye-opening. But so far, I've mostly been working from home, but that would change in a bit. And the work is really exciting, and just trying to get used to the new environment, the new home, the new lifestyle of how do I say, like transportation. Yeah, just really adapting to the new lifestyle here.
Nothing changed much, except I increased my travel time to work.
So the first thing we would like to discuss is we want to understand or want to get a glimpse of what really inspires Poa to really start and participate in exchange programs.
I think my first ever like international exchange program experience was when I was 14. I received a scholarship to go to Australia for 1 year. It was my first year of high school, and it was my first time being abroad, kind of semi-alone because my mom was there with me for visa purposes, but then she had to come back to work. So she registered me to a homestay family, which I didn't know at all. And I was very lucky to be able to live with a really, really cute and warm family that made me feel at home. So I went to the program with the mindset that I don't know if I will ever have this opportunity again. So it's more like exploring new things around the school, and the culture is also very different. And I was joining, I think, almost all of the student committees on campus. And at one point, they were like, I don't think you can do that. But I wanted to just explore everything. I knew I had 1 year, and I wanted to explore that as much as I could. And I think since then, it really changed my perspective on opportunities that they don't really come by every day, or when I feel that I'm ready to take them. So even if like new opportunities come and I'm scared to take them, or I'm just making up excuses why I should not take them or not, I just think back to how this program really showed me that I cannot plan always everything, but just go into it with an open mindset. And yeah, I think from that time onwards, I also participated in a lot of debate competitions abroad with my school. So in high school, I was representing Team Cambodia for a year to compete in many different countries around social issues. We went to Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, the US. I think that's China. Yeah. That was interesting because we went for the purpose of debating, but what we learned from that was more than just we have to like say a 7-minute speech each for each team, but really and being inspired by how people see the world, why we have different discussion topics around one specific social issues and things like that. So that really inspired me also to think about what I want to do with my career or what I wanted to study, because during this time it was more of like 10th grade to 11th, 12th grade. So it was when I was choosing also my major to study for university. And I always knew that I wanted to go abroad for university. So that was something that I was open to, and it was more of where I want to go and what do I want to do with that. But in terms of like exchange programs and everything, I always try to take opportunities that I can. Recently, I went to Boston and Massachusetts for another exchange program, which was organized by my university in Switzerland with through a partnership with a business school in the US. And it was a 4-week-long exchange program focused intensely on business. I was thinking if I should take the opportunity to go to Boston or not, because in Switzerland it's already quite expensive, because the program was semi-sponsored. But in the end, I found it as an opportunity to meet more people from the business world, because what I'm studying now is kind of hospitality business. I have an idea of what I want to do, but not like a clear idea. And I wanted to see if people around my age would have other ideas. And I also knew that a lot of people have startup ideas that they wanted to pitch in the program as well. So I wanted to learn from the way they're going to pitch, from different parts of the world as well. So I think every exchange program, it really depends where the location is, your budget, what your priorities are, the subject and the purpose of the exchange program. But there's one thing in common, and that's always there's endless possibilities to learn from many different aspects, whether it be what you're learning in class, what you learn in society, the way you take the transportation in the city, the way you interact with people from different cultures and things like that. I think it really helps a lot in many ways that you can apply to your life, because it's not just the hard skills that you will learn, but also like soft skills.
So when you go into like the exchange program, do you have some kind of question or some kind of idea of what you're looking for when going to those exchange program to
The
later on?
expectations.
Yeah, expectation or something like, okay, I planned that I want to
Achieve
learn more
this.
about this. I want to get to know more, something like that.
I think before I really had like a lot of expectations, as in when I was younger. I feel like whatever I do, I always have to have a plan. I need to have some guidelines for myself to see, okay, I need to tick this box and that box. But so like recently, or maybe coming to university, I learned to take things more with the flow. Just always trying to be open and absorb as much information as I can, and try to ask a lot of questions, but not have expectations, because sometimes expectations can limit me. At least that's something that I learned about myself, that if I expect to learn about this only, then if I learn about that, then I don't go further. And I'm like, okay, actually, I already learned about this, so like let me do something else. But if I just go into the programs or anything and think that there's always something I can learn more from, whether it be from the professor or from my classmates, then like more questions come. And I think that really helped me a lot also about opening up my perspectives and getting outside of my shell to also talk to people, because I'm still quite introverted. In the first few weeks, I was like getting sick, but also I was scared to go up to a group of people who have already formed like little bonds, to just like integrate myself in there, because they have like common language, for example, and I'm usually the only Cambodian there. And yeah,
When we think of exchange programs, we were most likely gonna think about the good things that Paul had just mentioned, like the opportunities, the experiences, all that personal growth, soft skills, and hard skills. But I would also like to flip the coin, and also would like to know if you have any, I'm sure you had, challenges or any like obstacles that you had to overcome, like before going and during the exchange program.
yeah, there are a lot, because every exchange program is kind of a new change, and change is always scary. So, and there's a lot of like we know that change is something that we can learn from, but internally, like at least for me, I need to process it a little bit and like weigh out my emotions, how I should go into it and things like that. And I would say like some of the main obstacles or challenges would be really trying to be in the moment and like learn, meet people and everything, but also coming back to reality and being like, wait, why am I here? How did I end up here? What am I doing? Am I doing enough? Or if I should do something else to take more of these chances. And I think like trying to balance knowing that it's a limited time and actually enjoying each experience, each moment fully, so that I don't have regrets afterwards. And maybe it's kind of, it ties into that, like maybe when I go back I might regret not having done this during my limited time here and there. But also there are challenges of being away from home. I haven't been back home in Cambodia since January, and for now I don't have plans to go back anytime soon. So just the not knowing part of when I'm going to go back is like sometimes challenging, but also exciting that, okay, when I go back, I have a lot of things to share with my family, more exciting things to explore about my city, because actually it's changed a lot since I left the last time. So it's very exciting. I see it more of this way, and seeing the opportunities that I have abroad as a chance to explore something new. And yeah, and the food is another big problem because I'm a big foodie, but when you cannot find food that satisfies your cravings and things like that, especially in Europe and like in the US, everything is so much more expensive. And when you don't get satisfied with it, you're like, okay, why did I buy that? I might as well eat rice and like eggs or something. So yeah, it's like little things that we might not think about, but when you live abroad, when you travel to a whole new environment with new people, and knowing that there's like a limited time that you'll be in these type of programs, like trying to balance everything while trying to also like absorb as much as you can enjoy can be challenging.
And overwhelming as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe you can give a little bit of context, like, we've been talking about, you went on a lot of exchange program and stuff like that, but I think people might not realize, or maybe you might not realize that before you were not like this kind of outgoing person, right? I feel like, maybe tell us a little bit about that, because I feel it's also a bit interesting, since we grew up together, and we know, and I've seen you grow from, that very shy, not wanting to talk anything. How have you evolved? Like, why do I keep talking about evolution? How have you?
We're evolved human beings.
Yeah, how have you evolved into like more outgoing like that?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was very introverted. I think like Kumide and I mean Bongmai as well, we met when we were younger, and I think we didn't like say a word to each other or something until like we were older. So I was that type of person who would not initiate any conversations, but also avoid conversations. It's not just if someone initiates something, I will try to say a few words, but then I avoid it because it makes me uncomfortable, and like I was very, very insecure and like introverted. But I think something that changed a lot in terms of making me more open is through debating and public speaking, because it showed me that I have a voice to share, and my opinions actually matters. Because for me, I am more of the type to analyze other people's opinions and see which one I relate with. And okay, actually that makes sense, and then I agree with that or I disagree with that, but I don't voice out my opinions because I feel like it's not necessary. I don't know. It was kind of like how I thought about things. But with debating, because each of the debaters have their own 7 minutes to speak, we have to really think about what we want to say for a certain topic. And of course, with the time crunch and everything, we have to come up with our own ideas, agree with the team and share it. And when I realized that actually my opinions can help solve many problems, or it plays a role in my team and everything, it made me realize that I need to share it more. And if I'm scared to share it, then it's more of a loss than a gain, because my sharing of opinions will contribute to a conversation as well, which on the other side might be like, oh, someone agrees or disagrees with what I'm saying. So being interested in like exchanges of perceptions on social issues or personal issues with friends, family, or anything like that made me more open-minded and more open to sharing ideas, and also being open to taking criticism and like feedback also helped a lot, because I don't really take a lot of things personally. So I take it more of, okay, then I can improve on that later or things like that. And trying to implement those little changes to improve myself was also like a practice for me to talk more, I guess, and like be more social. And what I realized is sometimes like with friendships that I've made throughout the past few years, if I didn't initiate something, or if the other person didn't initiate something, for example, if they initiated the conversation years after we met when we were younger, if that never happened, then we would not have like our friendship now or like this relationship now. So I feel like I also have a role to play in these type of things. So it makes me, okay, this is a new group, this is the new environment. Let me try to start a conversation. Maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it's fine as well. So yeah.
That's a really good answer. At the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned something around going into this exchange program with a very open-minded point of view. And I believe that even though you already have that in your mind that you are going to go with an open mind, make the best out of this experience, you also told me that at one point you were really feeling homesick, and I think it's very normal and it's very like common to feel like that. So would you mind like going a little bit deeper on how, like, what are the things that you did to make yourself, you know, like more at home with this new environment? Because the thing with exchange program is, like you had mentioned, it's very time limited, like 1 year, 1 month or 6 months. So you're so overwhelmed by like the activities and the things that you want to absorb, right? So how do you balance this, and what are the things that you did to help ease this feeling of like out of place, like like, or homesick?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little like back and forth sometimes, because knowing that it's a limited program, you're like, oh, it's gonna end soon, so I'm gonna be back in wherever I came from, and that will be fine. So sometimes I tell myself that, okay, it's hard now, but soon I'll be back to my comfort zone, wherever that is. But of course, I still feel a lot of like homesickness, especially knowing that, okay, after this program, everyone is going back to their home country, to their families. And for me, after this program, I'm going back to a new place. I literally moved to a new apartment the same day I landed my flight. So it's something like I have nothing to look forward to, as in going back home to my family as everyone else is. And I think that comparison, this is something that I unconsciously do, and I'm always aware when I do it, because when people ask, oh, where are you going for your holidays and everything, is always, I'm not sure, I'm gonna be around here. Whereas everyone is like, oh, I'm going on this vacation or something with my family. I'm gonna meet this person who is close to them. And for me, maybe it's like I came abroad taking it as a package, that, okay, I'm not gonna have these type of experiences as everyone else will. And being okay, like trying to be okay with that, is hard, but it was something that helped me cope a lot. You can see like behind, I have a lot of letters, and it's all the letters that I've received from since when I left home. So I have one from Midday and Moshida here when they wrote me, when before I left to university, and everything else was what I received since I arrived. And it's something that makes me feel at home, because I read them on my wall, like it's next to my bed. Whenever I feel homesick, I just read back to when was this letter written, they write it to me at one, and looking back at all those experiences made me realize that, okay, this homesickness is not going to be permanent, because I have so many things to look forward to, some things that, like some of the most amazing things that happen in my life, I never expected to happen. So maybe it's tomorrow or in the next month and next year, I don't know. So always having something to look forward to, and knowing that my parents are very open to calling. They're really happy whenever we call from abroad, my grandparents as well. So knowing that I have like always someone to call, someone to go back to, and just share any like random experiences, whether it's be serious or not. And yeah, also my friends that I've made in university, they've made a lot of impact on my life. They treat me as if I'm someone who's exploring their world for the first time, because most of them are from Switzerland, and trying to show me like different things that I might not have seen before, and things like that really helped me want to explore more. And always having like something to look forward to doesn't give me like the chance or the time to look back on like being homesick and like going into that state. But obviously it comes once in a while that I'm just in my room and I'm like, I wish I can go home right now, and I just check the plane ticket. I'm like, actually no, I can't afford it, so it's not I don't want it anymore. It's kind of like a back and forth, but I think it's good to experience it, especially when we're young. This type of like loneliness, homesickness is something that at one point everyone will experience. Maybe when we're older, we have a burnout in a job, and not maybe like our parents or our friends are not going to be there for us all the time because they have their own things going on. Maybe we're in like a different time zone that we cannot just call someone. So it's good to internalize the emotions and go through it. Yeah, and the more you go through it, the more I think at least maybe you know how to deal with it.
You know what really like amazed me is that we've been on exchange programs together before, but with our friends, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is that when you're with your friends, it's easier to talk to people as a group, right? It's easier to make new friends with a group of friends. What amazed me is that like I've seen you went on exchange program on your own and able to connect with more people. Like I feel that's what I don't have that experience. Like if you go to a university or like you stay at a place for a longer period of time, it's easier to make friends. You get to know more people and stuff like that. But in a short span of time, like limited time, how does that work? Like how are you?
How can you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah, what is that experience like?
Honestly, I still ask myself the same question because it's very hard. Like I think since I came to university, I met my like close friends the first day of university, and we somehow just like stick. But it's not an occasion, like it's not a common thing to just meet someone and just stick with them, because you have to do like trial and error. You find out things like personalities about this person that might not match yours, and then you kind of drift apart. Like a lot of things like this, and especially with like short programs, it's very hard, and also you feel that pressure. And for me, I experienced that recently in Boston when everyone started like forming groups because they spoke the same languages, for example. And when I start to say hi, or like we go around in circles saying our names, where we're from, we go around in circles, and then they start asking like questions in another language, and like I'm just standing there like I have no idea what's going on, but I don't show signs of disconnect. I just ask more questions, and tomorrow or later after class or things like that, I'm planning to do this and that. So maybe like for me, I like to have plans to go somewhere, at least like for a new city in Boston. I want to go explore this museum or that park or something, and just like reading the room, seeing who is someone who's like a bit open to doing these type of things, and just asking like, oh, I'm planning to go to this place. Do you want to join? Things like that. Or sometimes like there are usually more extroverted people than I am, so they are the ones who initiate these type of things. I learned that people actually like to talk a lot about themselves, so you kind of take advantage of that when you are introduced to a new group or something. You just ask them about themselves, and then they'll just go on and on.
Yeah.
Then you pick out questions from there, and then you have a conversation. So before, like I do it when I make new friends, I just ask questions and everything, but I didn't realize that once I realized that actually this is like the psychology of people, it never leaves my mind. I'm like, okay, I'll just pick out more questions that allows them to give an opportunity for them to share maybe something that happened in their lives that is interesting, and then you ask them more about it, and then they do the same to you. So then at one point you reach something that relates you to the other person, and then but it's very hard
Learning
to
something new.
And I was interested about like how did you manage to work in a diverse populations? Like I don't think it's easy to work with, especially people from different countries, different backgrounds, and what are your strategy in doing teamwork? And you also mentioned about debate, right? So I think it is very important to have like a good teamwork skills. Yeah.
That's a good question. In debating, we were like a team from Cambodia, so like we were all friends. So it was already kind of like natural the way we work together. We had to find out like different leadership styles and everything and who takes which role. But when you're in a whole new environment, that's hard because you cannot just ask people like, do you want to do this or that? And then you like, for me, I don't like to take on leadership roles initially. I don't want to be the person to be like, okay, let's do things the way I want it. I would rather like see what the team dynamics are like, who takes the initiative, and then if I agree with the leader, then I would execute the task and I give my opinions on maybe, yeah, we can do that, but let's maybe think about this as well, and that like giving more input and for the team to agree with our approach to a task, for example. And recently in Boston, we also had like a final group project, and my teammates were all from different countries and different cultures. There's like one person who has a startup, for example, so he's more like an adventurous type, someone who takes initiatives and things like that. And then there's someone who's super quiet. So I'm like, for me, I'm scared that whatever we say, he might not feel comfortable to reject it or disagree. So I always try to like check, do you think that's fine with it? So for me, maybe I take the more effort to really understand each person in the group and see what they want out of the group project, what their needs are, how they work. Whereas maybe someone who's a leader, they care more just about the project and making sure that we do well. So it's not a bad thing or a good thing. Everyone plays a different role in the group. So for me, I just like it when I know that everyone in the group feels happy to be there and that what they're contributing is valuable, because I don't want to be in a team where I don't feel valued, that my work is not being used, or that my opinions is not what the team wants. So whenever I give opinion, I always ask, do you think that's fine? And if not, give me reasons why. Let's figure it out. So I think being also the person to like being at the open door of the team kind of brings people into you and allow people to trust you. And yeah, at least for me, it has worked a lot, but sometimes it's hard because you cannot always read another person, especially someone super new and you have a tight group project or something like that. But I think just being open and being more patient to knowing that, okay, we're not going to have the same ideas, but let's see, like always have the team's best interest in your mind and express that to your team that this is my opinion. It's not because I want it, but I think it's what's going to be best for our team. And I think they would understand that because in the end of the day, it's a team project. And if someone really wants to take the initiative and take the credits and everything, just let them, because in the end, there's no point to fight about who takes the role and everything. In the end, we're going to deliver the same product. So if they want to take more responsibilities, let them, and then they will feel the pressure to actually perform well. And then you do your part.
That's very insightful. Yeah, thank you.
I'm curious to know, after each exchange program, have you had the opportunity to do a reflection on yourself, especially on what kind of area of improvement that you like think you could have done differently in the next exchange program or in the next opportunity?
I actually do a lot of self-reflections, and even during the process, I always have like a notebook with me that I write down, or before I used to journal, and it gave me a lot of pressure to make it look pretty and everything. So I scrapped that, and I just told myself I just need a piece of paper and a pen. So I would just like take a random A4 piece of paper or like a page from a notebook or my phone notes app. And every time I feel something that is not normal, but as in excitement or like more depressing thoughts or something, I would just write it down because I know that it's more temporary. And then looking back onto it, I just reflect on why did I feel that in the moment, why was I so excited about this and now I'm just like normal about it? Why was I feeling super homesick? What can I do about it? So, but I do want to sit down, like, because recently since I've been back, I've just been running, going to the new job and everything and moving. So I do want to take some time to myself and just reflecting back on the experiences. And I think this podcast is a great time also to reflect back on experiences, because I never thought about asking myself these type of questions. And it's great to share it openly, and because verbalizing things for me also helps a lot to internalize what I'm actually feeling. And yeah, I think it's important to never like forget the experiences that you go through, because it's super, like, I still remember some of the best experiences that happened to me when I was 13, 14, because I have like this kind of photographic memory, but also I always reflect back on the bad and the good experiences in detail. And then I have it in my head, not just going to a random place and then, okay, that happened. When I also see which part of my life was like important, which is not. Yeah.
Okay, so Boa, I'm wondering what's kind of motivate you to go on an exchange at such a young age. You mentioned that your first exchange program was at 14 years. Is that correct? Yeah. So say a 14-year-old watching this, and they also have to take the leap. They have an opportunity. So what do you say to them to encourage them to also follow the same steps that you did?
So the more general answer is more like the opportunities don't come by every day or when you want them to or when you feel ready. So when it comes, just talk about it with your family, your parents, your friends, and like, can I do it first of all? And then it's always you should do it, and let's see what happens. For me, like a more personal reason that I always try to take as many opportunities as I can is because my mom got married super young, and I feel like for her, she never really got to experience these type of experiences in her 20s. Her 20s was really kids and like starting a new family. And for me to do all of this and for her to see it kind of maybe through my eyes, and things like that, for me is one of my biggest motivators, because I always look back and think my mom would actually enjoy this as well, but she didn't get this opportunity. So I will do more things to explore, show her what the world is like. And yeah, and whenever she's like, oh, like I didn't know you would get there, or I'm so happy that you are enjoying your experiences, because I would feel scared to do that and this, like going on a boat or something. She's like, even if I have a life jacket, I would be so scared to go there to do it. But I'm really happy that you're having fun. And I think that's one of my biggest motivators to not, I still live life for myself, because I think she wants, like both of my parents want that as well, that we live our lives for ourselves and not for any other people, not even for them, because that's what, like, they want us to have our own experiences and our own lives. But for me, I chose to also think about doing the experiences for myself. But in the back of my mind, I reflect back on how lucky I am to have had these chances, whereas maybe my parents never had the chance to. So I should enjoy it even more, as if I'm enjoying it for another person. So
That's a very sweet answer.
It's sweet. It's like showing your parents through your eyes, showing your parents the world through your eyes. So
yeah.
cute.
Panya,
Anyone
don't
else?
cry. Panya, don't cry.
No.
But yeah, from
Anyone else have a question? No, if you don't have a question, I just have a random thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about let's say group dynamic, right? With new people. And whoever is taking initiative are usually the ones who are more focused on the project, while you're saying you're more focused on your building personal connection. I feel like, maybe it's like you're a leader, but you're invisible leader, kind of like that, right? Like you're there to, but it only happens, I feel like, in this kind of situation where the dynamic is like you are on an exchange program, you're doing teamwork, some kind of stuff like that. But if it's in a real working environment, it won't happen because there's a hierarchy. In this case, there's no hierarchy, right? I feel like it could happen more in this kind of dynamic. It's just a random.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. Like, for example, when I was with my team in Boston, I wasn't the vocal leader, but I was trying to like make sure everyone feels comfortable and everything. But not like, I didn't say, okay, I'm here to make you feel comfortable. I just showed signs that I care about people. And then in the end, we chose a topic that I chose about Cambodia and like vocational education training to present for the whole team to the judge. And it's because I gained the trust that I know what I'm talking about. If you guys want to choose another topic, like feel free to. This is just my suggestion. I've done some research about it. I'm passionate about it, and I think it's something that we can use for this project. But do like feel free to give more ideas and things. And when they see that I took this initiative to present my ideas, but also they feel comfortable with the way I like work in the team and everything, they give me the trust to like, okay, like tell us more about Cambodia, tell us more about what we can do to make this project work. And then we also like went from Cambodia to Italy. So the context is we had to choose a country and solve an SDG goal. So we also chose Italy and do the pros and cons of which one we can talk more about and things like that, and which one we have more research about, because we have like 1 week to prepare for it. And in the end, I felt like it was not just my project, but the whole team's project, because I was involved in my team, not just for what we were going to present, but also with my team's like well-being and the way we work together. So yeah.
So today we talked about, what are the benefits and challenges on exchange program? What is the motivation to join an exchange program? We talked about how we can reflect and learn from those exchange programs. We talked a bit about how teamwork dynamics work, like how should you cooperate in a team. And I think I would like to introduce another like ending session. And I want each of us to say a little bit of what is the most memorable part of this conversation that you remember from the whole conversation. What is the thing that you remember the most from it? Maybe that's a good way to reflect. The thing that I remember the most is about how to start a conversation with another person and continue the conversation by allowing them an opportunity to voice their stories. Right? I think that kind of sticks to me a lot. Yeah.
For me, it's about when Paul was talking about like how to overcome homesick. Because it's something that I can totally relate to, and I think a lot of us in this conversation can relate to a lot, as we're all abroad. No one's in Cambodia, and so for me, I feel that very often, and I just realized that I've never been abroad for more than four years, 4 months, maximum 5 months, and I have to come back to Cambodia for like a refreshing, so and Paul is like the exact opposite of me, and the tips that she shared really helped me too. Maybe I can do that too. Like hopefully next time
on the wall.
Yeah, maybe next time, hopefully the next time I fly to Switzerland, I won't come back until I graduate, but let's see about that.
The most memorable, the best highlight of this episode is not only Poa wanted to experience new things in her life, she also want to experience it to share it with her parents. So in a way, she wanted her parents to see life through her eyes or through her experience. That is very memorable.
Very touching.
Personally, it was the Bongpoa, her exchange experience, especially at the age of 14 at Australia, which was so inspiring to me. And I somehow resonate to that story, although I don't have much experience as her. But I truly enjoy listening to that. And I think it is a cool experience as a teenager. Yeah.
I think my favorite moment, or like my most memorable moment, was when Boa talked about team dynamics, because this is something that I can relate as well. I'm not project oriented, but I'm people oriented. So it was very interesting because I always kind of observed that, but I've never really put it into words. And having Boa put my thoughts into words, it was very interesting. So thank you, Boa.
Thank
Yeah.
you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned for our next episode. Don't
Yeah.
forget, that's really important.
Subscribe.
Bye.